Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So it is KT time, episode 1 of 2021. We made it up until episode 7, I believe, something like that. And last year we took a couple weeks of break in which we're gonna make the biggest difference to KT time. And that's gonna be that we're gonna record it live in front of every single one of you straight away. And you guys are not gonna have to wait a week to catch these on demand. However, it's important to remember that this is going to be a podcast type of show where me and Mandalorian are having an actual conversation, and that means I will not be actually playing MCOC, and it also means I will not be interacting with the chat much. I'll still try to read everything there, but we have a set point schedule to keep to and set topics to discuss. And yeah, quickly need to pop in a reply, but yeah. Let's say hello to Mandalorian and let's get this started.
Hey everybody!
Well, hello there, hello there. So this is the first KT time in 2021.
So I guess we could call it the revamped KT time.
Suppose so. And we do have a lot of things that has happened since the last one.
Oh god, yes. For sure.
But we're gonna be talking about more recent things.
Yes.
Right. So the first thing is new year, new MCOC. Oh, really though. But either way, we do have quite a lot of promises from Kabam that stretch into 2021. And which ones are the ones that you are personally most excited for? Because there is a ton of different stuff.
I think I'm really excited about the champ refreshes. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'm excited for, because I want to see some of these champs that when people get in 6 stars especially, because it takes some players, it takes a long time to rank, to get those shards. I would like to see them actually have where if they pull anyone, they're actually a little bit happy at least, or at least saying, oh, I can use them in this way and not just be possible arena fodder or defense or something like that. I think that's what I want to see, Ruff.
Yeah, and especially knowing that we have 4 of those coming in February and they have set themselves a schedule that they're going to try and keep to 4. And knowing that, for instance, not all of them, but let's say Falcon, who got a medium level buff, is actually a top contender in a lot of situations.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
actually
went from
become
a dud to stud.
Yeah, he's become a lot more useful. I think the more people have used him since his buff in November? I think it was November, beginning of November.
Yeah, and it took a while till it kind of like made its way up there and people actually trusted to rank up Falcon. It wasn't like an immediate thing, I think, but I have several alliance mates who are actively looking to dupe Falcon because they want to rank him up.
Yeah, I've had some people say the same thing, that they were real hesitant on doing it. They didn't jump on board right away. And now they're actually looking to rank up their 6-star. Of course, I know someone that just ranked up their 5-star they had. They maxed them to rank 5, and then they just pulled the 6-star, and they're like, of course that happens. But they're not upset about it. See, that's the thing. At least they're not upset. They're just like, well, I could use those resources to rank 2 or, something else. But
it's only kind of like also natural that these kind of readjustments take some time, because like even now, like a year later after Colossus got buffed, many people still are quite hesitant on him just because for 4 straight years he was an absolute dud, and there is that stigma subconsciously in your head that he sucks, which he doesn't right now. And that is also something to kind of like look past it. Okay, so for you, it's the champion buff. For me, and I might get crucified for this, I know that there's a ton of other things. Strikers is something to look forward to. Also those traps or whatever that you can set. And there's going to be Wish Crystal, which is awesome. Hopefully arenas get revamped and Alliance War and Alliance Quest. But for me, selfishly, I want to see Spring of Suffering. And I want that type of content to be more often. It was meant to be Summer of
Yeah.
Pain, which you never got. But quite honestly, and again, I know that this isn't an opinion that represents vast majority of the player base. I know that this is top 1% or top 0.5% of a player base actually. But anything released recently, obviously Variant 6, 7.1 are fantastic piece of content, but they are also a bit of a step down from, let's say, Act 6, which is good. I don't agree to the fact that story content should be the challenging type of content. But now it already has been a while since Abyss has been out. And
Almost a year.
Well, basically, where I'm trying to get at, I consistently need to find some stupid ways how to use up all my items and revives in doing extra Abyss path, doing labyrinth stuff like that. Because I did Variant 6 itemless, I did 7.1 itemless, I used a couple of items just because I rushed through that John Mulaney's challenge, which was a very fun time, but ultimately I want them to put something on a table where I have to dig in my stash, where I have to pop in my free crystals or buy some units or something. So
Right.
I really want that Spring of Suffering or something that really makes me want to throw my phone. I know I'm glutton for punishment.
You are.
But
it's one of those things where I think you are kind of like similar to a lot of in-game players that want that content that just makes a huge challenge, and you want it more frequently. And it has been going on a year since we got the Abyss. I think it came out February or March of last year. I can't remember the exact date, but yeah, I mean, it's been a year, and we need some more of that. I can see, yeah.
And that generally, I'm kind of itching for something that's like, come on, come on, give me something. Like, kill me. But yeah, that's
exactly
what I'm waiting for. Right, but unfortunately, new year, new update has also come with some, I would want to say, unexpected surprises or unwelcome surprises, but let's face it, it's a new norm, new reality. I cannot recall a single update within the last 18 months.
Yeah.
If not longer, without new bugs. And it unfortunately seems that this one particularly was filled with them. Which one have you felt the most?
It's been a lot. Well, I've had issues where my game will just freeze or crash just randomly. Like, and I'm talking like more than what was happening before. Like before, I think it was like if you did arena, which I don't do too often unless I'm grinding for somebody like a champion. But I've had it where the tagging in game has actually lagged my game and crashed it in the middle of me doing 7.1 before. I've had it where most recently I was in Alliance Quest and Alliance War, and I tried moving to a node and it just froze, and then it actually crashed, and thank God it didn't let me go into the match. It almost happened in a war match where I would have lost an attack bonus if that had happened. So it's becoming issues where it's actually affecting like Alliance and also items, and Kabam is not really addressing it so much. They're just kind of like hoping it just goes away on its own.
Yeah,
sense.
Like we can see here, forums are filled with all of these threads, but will placing Spider-Ham on defense get you banned? Obviously, why it is because Spider-Ham is making certain devices crash immediately, and you cannot play against or use that champion model at all. So I heard this story somewhere on Twitter, I think, where basically just place Spider-Hams all over the map. There's going to be somebody who ends up crashing on it and get him in the war because I can't.
I didn't think about that.
And
because I did place them on defense, but we were placing them because we knew a node that would kill people, not because of that.
Well,
so if they would have banned me for that, I didn't even know. Like,
yeah,
well, I knew about
obviously
it
they
now,
won't.
but I didn't know about it then.
Obviously, they will not do that, but it's just a genuine question somebody's having. That shows the state of the game currently, and that there is tons. Game won't stop crashing during uncollected EQ. We got tons of specific champion bugs. Aegon is fits to the wall right now. Like, all the call-out HUDs are consistently popping up. Your Furies are not working properly, and we don't know when the fix for that is coming. And that is also a very, very critical time right now, because we just exited the gifting period where a lot of people used the gifting in units to exchange for items and revives and potions with an idea of doing Abyss or some other kind of content, and there can be a lot of complications with that as these resource sources can expire if it's not sorted out. And then we have a ton of different issues. I know one of the more painful ones for my alliance particularly that I heard was Corvus not power draining on level 2 anymore when you push opponent special 3. Has caused a ton of people extra item use. And that is quite heavy. Then there are bugs with Blade, then there are bugs with, well, obviously the Spider Pig bug, and I think a whole bunch of more. And that's...
I know that the Corvus one was a big one with my alliance, and I will say that I noticed it, but luckily when the guy, because I used my Corvus as last alliance quest, but when my guy got to 3 bars and I used my special 2, he didn't get killed, but he was at like 1%, so I just hit into his block to kill him right away. But that was shocking to me, and I did not know about it prior to that, so that would have cost me a revive if he had thrown it off.
I got sent a video where a person activates White Magneto pre-fight ability and he doesn't get the passive stun. And when Nick Fury randomly starts in the second phase, and there has been a ton of things happening, and again, unfortunately, none of that's really surprising. Like that has again extremely regrettably become the kind of norm. That's why there's always kind of like hesitation hitting the update button. Like I do have 2 devices, right? And I always make sure not to update one of them for as long as I can, just because of things like this.
Yeah, I think, and I have 2 devices, and for some reason I just forget to check before I update both of them. I just say, oh, update's out, and I update them. I do have the benefit of being on iOS, an iPhone versus an Android device, and I will say, like, just historically, Kabam has screwed over the Android players more than any other player base, and I don't agree that that's nice. I think that's horrible.
I think it's not by choice, though, because it's significantly harder to optimize for Android than it is for iOS. Because how many iPhones there are that are actively being used, let's say, no older than iPhone, 7? It's like, a handful. No,
a handful.
Thousands of Android devices. So it's obviously a lot easier for that, but still. And I'm not usually one to kind of like shout for compensation. And for me personally, in this kind of like month situation, I haven't gotten affected too much. Yes, obviously I need to be wary of Corvus, and Omega Red is still bugged, and I have him and I use him, and so on and so forth. But it hasn't like caused too much adverse effect. But there are people who are legitimately unable to play the game. It takes like 5 minutes to log in or start a fight, like half a minute on, and it matters when you're like neck you. And now obviously the Aegon Bugs, and as I said, people who have resources expiring now. So I think in this case it's broad enough to warrant quite similar treatment to when the game went down completely for everyone. Because there's nearly all players affected to some degree. Even just to an extent of things that you're unable to do because they are unable to provide you with the game that they are advertising.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of mind-boggling to me. It's like, I understand the Kabam as a whole, to make money they have to sell items and they have to sell crystals and new champions and all that. But if you're someone that's trying to get more people to download your app so you have more potential customers for said deals or just to get new champions or whatever, why aren't you fixing bugs as quick as possible? Why are you always focusing after the fact? I mean, I can tell you right now, look at the game. If you look at the tokens, like where you have your tokens in your screen, the same place where you can tap on your gold and stuff, the icon is gone. And the reason the icon is gone is because the epoch shards disappeared, and because it moved over one spot, they didn't code the game for that icon to follow where the materials, the items you have are. It's just a blank white screen, like a white square. And it does that for also profile pictures and stuff.
But well, the thing is here that I don't quite get. I understand when something goes wrong when they are actively, let's say, quote unquote, messing with a champion or an ability. Or here we can see the blank bit pop up. But, like, I can understand, let's say, Vision's PI gets bugged when it was mentioned in the bug fixes that they're going to be working on his signature ability or something. I understand how it all works, but from the pure perspective, is in like, you're touching something related to that champion and that champion gets bugged. I can understand how that can happen because you probably touched something you shouldn't have or didn't see something changing. But there are a ton of new bugs that are introduced for no apparent reason. Like, we don't have any new or different interaction with Blade, for instance. He got bugged.
Yeah. Blade, he was bugged in a positive kind of way, but it was not consistent either.
It wasn't entirely always positive, but because that same bug, it was, I think, largely referring to like power drain or something like that. Because abilities like Power Alternator were bugged. Like, you know that Power Alternator node, that also caused a lot of issues in Alliance War, by the way. Because in Power Alternator, basically every 10 or 15 seconds, if you have more power than opponent has, what's meant to happen is both of you are meant to lose all the power that you have, and then you gain your opponent's power. But the way that node ended up working now is if you have more power than your opponent, and both of you gain each other's power on top of what you ever had, and you end up in being like exactly the same power levels. Nothing happens if you have less power than opponent, but the moment that power drain ability would trigger, both of you kind of get a full power bar, basically.
Real quick, they're saying I'm echoing. It's on your end whenever I'm speaking. You may have to turn me down a little bit.
Okay, I'll try and turn you down a little bit.
Sorry, guys. I'll try not to talk as also. But yeah, I did use Blade in my baby account for Alliance Quest, and I noticed that sometimes I could heal. After I found out about the bug, I was like, well, is it doing it to me? Because I hadn't noticed that. And it didn't do it every time, and granted, the nodes were not, power alternator or anything, but I was able to hear. I was able to, sorry, not hear. I was able to see that sometimes when I'd be healing, my power bar would not drain at all, and then other times it was working as intended. It was not consistent. It was across multiple fights. It was just, that's a weird bug. And why did that change? What changed to make that change?
Exactly, and it's just kabam at this point. Like, I have long given up the attempt to try and understand how it works, because as I said, many of those things didn't make sense at all. As in, like, nothing's meant to change for a champion. None of their abilities are mended or anything to do with them, and they somehow end up being bugged. Who knows how it exactly works. Right. But speaking of bugs, I think we would be remiss to speak about possibly the biggest fiasco, or second biggest fiasco this month, or third, depending how you look at it. But one of the bigger noticeable ones was the undo button, because undo button was very, very long-awaited addition to the game, and undo button was something that everybody was looking forward to, including me. But it quite quickly turned into chaos.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was there.
It was there for like a day until they removed it.
Yeah, I was told it was there, and I was like, where is it? They're like, oh, they removed it now because it was messing up. I'm like, of course it was.
It wasn't just that, it was also the way they did the HUDs is like if you poked anyone, then basically the entire screen just went full-on retard with pop-ups and...
Yeah, see, I mentioned that to my alliance mate. I had that happen even last month to my device, and one of my alliance mates made fun of me saying he didn't believe me, basically. But I was like, no, that actually does happening. And now that this update came out and it's happened to more people, I'm like, that's what I was seeing, and I saw it a month ago. So it was still out there. It just was rare, I guess. So they've never actually fixed that either. It's really
but they made it worse because they kind of like added that extra tab where it was meant to have that undo button, I think, or something. And it just went shit's creek immediately, and people couldn't get into fights, and then Kabam posted some sort of workaround how you can tap on a champion on a node and then you can move forward to it or something, but I was just laughing my ass off. And you know what was the funniest thing? The funniest thing was somebody not messaged me, but in the chat, in our chat, was like, oh, he immediately dropped, oh crap, I took a wrong path, what do I do now? And I obviously replied, well, perfect time to test out the undo button. He's like, it's gone. And I'm like, what, already? That's how I come to find it out. And it's kind of like ironic because it doesn't happen often when you need to use it. But it did. And also, when I was reading the update for this month, I was making a joke when the undo button coming in the game announced. And the first thing that when I saw that undo button that I said was quite immediately is like, I'm not gonna try and use it. I have zero faith that it will function properly because nothing ever does whenever Kabam adds something to the game. And
Yeah,
I'm
kind of glad I didn't see it, because if I would have made a mistake and I used it, who knows what it probably would have like divided by 0 and the world exploded or something. I don't know.
But yeah,
But
it's
have they said anything about when it's coming back or anything? I'm just curious. I hadn't seen anything.
Hopefully next month. But this whole situation with Kabam more and more reminds me of that slogan they had in Top Gear. I don't know if you watched British Top Gear. It's like one of the best shows ever.
I've seen some episodes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And,
I know the episode, yeah.
Top Gear, they had this kind of like motto or slogan. It's like, ambitious but rubbish. And that's Kabam.
Yeah.
It's like that. Ambitious but rubbish.
But you know what's sad is I've mentioned this, and I'm not going to talk about this very much, but I've played the beta for their Disney Mirrorverse game, and it's Kabam.
I'm actually considering downloading that.
It's stable. It's in beta. Granted, they don't have as many users, I guess, but it's stable. It doesn't have. I haven't had as many issues. The only thing you can't do is like be in a match and like tab out and go to another one. It'll crash the game. But I mean, or not crash the game. It'll just disconnect you from the server part. But you won't be doing that most of the time anyway. It's a more stable game than Marvel Contest of Champions, and so they've got competent programmers. They've got people that can do that stuff.
It's a different department probably though. It's not the same people doing it.
I'm sure.
Surely.
I'm sure.
But
get those people on there.
Yeah, to like swap the teams.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask, what is that game? Is it like a MCOC type of game or?
It's weird. It's not. It's like a 3 versus. There's like 3 tiers. What they have out right now, it's like you play. There's like, nodes.
Is it fighting, cards, dancing? What do you do there?
You have like 3 champions that move around the screen. You're controlling one of them, but you can control all the specials of all of them, and you can dodge, you can hit, you can use a special. You can.
So it's a fighting.
You have yeah, it's like a fighting, but it's not like fighting like Marvel Contest Champions. It's like a kind of like an isometric top-down view, a little bit more to the side than top, and it's like a 3 versus however many people they throw it at you, and then you have like 3 sections usually, or sometimes 4 sections, and you just go through it to defeat the boss, and then you wrap it up, and that's it. That's all it is right now. I'm sure they're going to do more, but basically you have 3 on your team instead of.
Well, try and test it out at some point next week.
Yeah, definitely. I can help you set it up, but basically it's like different classes like healer, tank, stuff like that. So it's kind of like a MOBA, but not really, because I hate MOBAs.
And it cannot be
nice, though.
Overstated. How much does that mean? Because in last 5 years I have tried out exactly 0 console or mobile games. I typically just don't. Like, I have a game that I play and that I'm happy with. I'd rather do that one thing well than 50 games poorly. And that is a very big statement from me.
Unfortunately, I'm the kind of guy that is mediocre at this game, average at best, and I play a lot of different games. But that's just because I like having variety. So if I had focused just on Marvel Contest Champions, I maybe could be as good as you, or at least maybe a half as good as you. But I just like playing a variety of things.
Flattering you.
Yeah,
Buy me dinner first before you try to bed me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, anyways.
Anyway, but yeah.
Anyways.
Moving on.
We're not quite yet at... Well, actually, this is not looking good for MCOC for the first week, right? Right, we do have to talk about the side event. What do you think about the side event?
I think it was described rather poorly. I think it's set up rather badly. I think that the rewards are mediocre. I think just getting the tokens itself added so many steps, probably 1 to 2 steps it didn't need. It's not good. Let me just put it that way. It's not good. I feel like it's a miss. I feel like they've done some much better. I know what they were trying to do, but in reality, if you just want to get the most tickets for your solo objectives and to get your T5CC, you're going to do the X-Men one over and over again all the time.
Well, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. Aside from it being explained dog shit and being overly complicated with extra unnecessary steps, the one major kind of like deal breaker to me is kind of like the fact that they're trying to present you with a choice, but there is no real choice at large. You want to play the best game, and there is a clear winner game that for whatever reason gives you more coins.
Exactly.
And I think that base principle in itself is flawed here, where you immediately feel like you're missing out if you pick either of the first two. We can also discuss the coward, rhino, and whatever other issues we've had there, but point being is, one of these games, the X-Men one, is longer, but awards 50% more coin, basically. So imagine yourself. I'm gonna give you one of three boxes. These two boxes have $100 each, and the third one has $150. Which one do you pick every single time, pretty much, right? It's like you go to the one that has more.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're missing out, or you feel like you're missing out. Either way, I don't understand why they had to mess it up. And another thing that is quite odd here is that they made the both week gift card stamps like different rewards. Like first week you get TFI Basic, second set you get TFI Class Catalyst. That again limits you in the choice that you want to do because they're not equal. And I just don't understand that concept, because these things each have different value that immediately can add a lot more complexity, I guess. So it just doesn't have a good feel. It would be so simple to fix this side event and make it from what it is right now, maybe not to the best one or great one or amazing one, but to at least a straightforward, decent enough kind of standard event.
Yeah. You see, that's what's stopping me. I would be interested to try some of the other ones if I would get the same rewards or points towards the rewards, you know what I mean?
Yeah, technically you can do like 6 of the other ones, I think.
Yeah, which
that
once
is the
I'm
math
done, which I'm
I think you can do 6 of either of the other ones, and then don't miss out on any extra rewards, because you're gonna end up with 6 of those tokens extra, which again is weird. Why 6?
I don't know. Because they want, maybe that's saying that you can miss almost a week of playing or something. I don't know, but I'm not going to until I'm done with all the objectives. So
exactly, I'm not going either. I have only played the X-Men game twice so far. I'm gonna wait for the next set of coins, do it all in 1 or 2 goes, but I'm only gonna play the longer quest because it awards more coins.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the crazy thing is, like, I could see if what they should have done and what I would have suggested is, okay, they give you 8 coins or whatever. They could have figured out the number, but let's just say they gave you 8 coins. Let's say the first spider quest is free, but you only get to enter it like a certain number of times, but they give you like 1/3 of what the top one would give you. The second one gives you 2/3, but it costs 1 coin, and then the one that gives you the most costs 2 coins or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
there's literally no incentive to play either of the first 2 games. So why would you? And what's worse is they were quite unclear, and then many people already messaged me, what do? I entered 8 times in the first one. Like, there's nothing now.
Kabam was flat out saying, we're not going to give you more coins, you need to be careful, but they didn't explain it well enough. So it's like, your poor explaining caused this issue, and now you're having to say, and you even said ahead of time, knowing that you were going to poorly explain it, that you weren't going to be giving more tokens or refunds or anything like that, because you knew people were going to mess up. So I mean, why do that? Why create a situation? Have the forethought to see you created this situation. It's going to be perceived wrong, and then say ahead of time, we don't give a crap if you messed up. I mean, that's horrible, man.
I mean, ultimately, you can break down this event actually very, very simple. Play the X-Men game for every coin that you have, and that's it. Pick whichever rewards you want from the cards. But again, it is a longer game, and there's more. So, by the way, guys, the sound might be distorted for a while. I hope I'm gonna get a new setup momentarily, but before I do, I must do this. And with that, we're also gonna move on to the new topic in a second, which is gonna be Jubilee. But just bear with me for a second. I apologize.
But the other thing too that's kind of crazy is, like, someone had asked if the coins carry over after 2 weeks. I believe they do, but you only have 2 weeks to do the event. So I mean, for each solo objectives. Wait, can they hear me at all? Okay, I just want to make sure. In the chat, it's fine.
Should be fine-ish now. Okay, we should be okay now.
Some tokens, but I mean, why do you want to carry over 6 tokens from the first, Alan? Just curious about that since we can hear you. Since I can hear you. Because I can't carry T right now, so...
You should be able to hear me now.
Oh, now I can, okay. Yeah. I saw your lips moving on the stream, meaning I was behind, but I couldn't hear you.
It's alright, don't worry.
Why do you want to carry over 6 tokens? Why was he saying
so you can get a set of lower rewards afterwards. That's why I want to play the biggest game. Anyways, again,
okay, so once
just
you hit
not
the max,
get into it.
once you hit the max on the in the 2 weeks, you just want to wait and carry that over. I see what you're saying. I was just gonna do it until I hit the max anyway, so that makes sense.
Okay, but now we're gonna be moving on to new champion.
New champions, which and I want to say, you know, I know we had Jubilee come out. She may be increasingly more better. I don't even think that's the right thing to say. Even she may be better as time goes on and they tune content for her. However,
yeah, kind of like so. But I don't see it though. I generally don't see it.
Well,
okay, here's one thing.
For those that have watched the video of yours, I think you broke it down pretty damn well why it's not as great and what they could do to improve it.
Yeah. Okay. Like there's an ultimate first thing, like many champions never really get given a chance for a few different reasons. Like one, for instance, let's say Red Goblin. Red Goblin is a champion that can perform decently well, but we have champions like Venom and a few others that do effectively the same thing, just better. And in addition to that, Red Goblin's champion needs to be awakened in high sig, and for anybody to get highly invested in that champion, you need to get him awakened in high sig. But why would you if you have better alternatives typically? Now I know that there are a lot of Red Goblin fans, and that's fair enough, but objectively, you kind of like, in order to be able to get the best out of the champion, you kind of need to take a leap of faith. And a similar thing is to learning the champion and getting accustomed how to use a champion. And that's one immediate problem with Jubilee. All aspects of her are relatively mediocre, the best we can say. And she's significantly harder to play than much better champions than she. With all of those rotating fireworks, keeping in mind on which one does what, keeping in mind that level 2s and level 1s and level 2s each have different effects, then it's also every time you strike a block, your fireworks change, and it's just a lot to manage for not that much out. And then obviously are the issues with her actual abilities and ability and stuff like that. One big problem is like, how many people will want to? Like, by the show of hands in the chat, how many of you know exactly how Diablo's rotation works? People just don't bother if the champion isn't great or amazing, if it's very complicated. And Diablo's been out for like, what, year plus now? 2 years?
Yeah, he's been out, he came out in 2019. Yeah, 2 years as of this month, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years. How many know how Diablo's rotation work, or what does he even do?
He only has 16 of those charges.
Yeah, but
you can't regain them unless you have a synergy.
Yeah, exactly.
You heal with your specials, you throw 2 mediums to brew a concoction, you dash bash to... But it's still a pain in the ass. It's too much to read for a little
majority of people don't know even champion's been here for 2 years. Why? Because he's quite honestly not really worth it. You're not missing out on anything if you don't spend the time to learn the champion. And Jubilee is significantly more complex than Diablo, because Diablo has 4 effects, basically.
Yeah.
Jubilee has 12. Because you get, sorry, not 12, 9. You get 3 different effects based on whatever fireworks surge you enter. Then additional 3 effects on your level 1 based on what surge. And additional 3 effects based on what level 2 you use. And on top of all of that, she also changes them a lot more sporadically, because every medium or every medium or light attack, whatever you land an opponent, changes the fireworks. And she has a double medium, so depending whether you finish a combo with light or medium, it changes that. And she also does it in block, and it's very chaotic to follow it. And none of it's that great. Honestly, like, the only decent phase she has is the damage one, and...
Yeah.
It's not special.
Everybody was happy because it was a new champion. We haven't had a new champion in a month
I
because
love
Spider-Ham was
Jubilee.
the last champion. Everybody was excited. Plus, it's Jubilee. Everybody's
I
wanted
love
Jubilee forever.
Jubilee.
She looks like just like she came off the screen of the X-Men animated series from back in the 90s and the comics and stuff.
Yeah.
She just looked like she could be a fun character to play.
I
And
so
with the
wanted her to
specials
be
and everything,
decent.
just she would look great because we know how well Kabam's animation team have been over the last couple of years. But then we got
so wanted her to
actual...
be decent.
Okay.
And
But
yeah, I'm not obviously Jubilee again, and I got quite a lot of slack and quite a lot of dislikes in the video when I said Jubilee is a bad champion. And that also something has to be made very, very, very clear from the start. When I say this is a bad champion that's getting released in 2021, I don't mean she's a bad champion compared to a Cyclops or compared to a Beast.
Correct.
I
But
don't
we're
mean
past
that if a
those
new player
champions.
pulls Jubilee, they're not going to be able to accomplish a lot. But I do mean that she's a bad champion compared to the top of the class. I do mean that she's a bad champion in an aspect whether I would personally recommend somebody investing catalysts in her that's trying to progress in the game. My immediate answer would be no, there are tons of better options.
Definitely. There's a lot of better options, especially in the mutant class of all classes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. She comes out in 2021 and she honestly comes below average. Like even the buffed Gambit, I see more value. Storm Pyramid X, which is alright, which is again just best. Emma Frost, Jubilee wins. Like so many champions.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why, unfortunately, I must kind of conclude that she's definitely a dud, and the January curse continues. Because at least one of the January champions typically is god-awful. And I'm not going to say Julie's god-awful, but I doubt we're going to see much of her.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna put her on annoying nodes that make her seem like she's more powerful than she is. But yeah, it's not gonna be that. Hold on 1 second. I've got to untangle my mic real quick. So
Yeah, absolutely.
What
no
else?
problem. So yeah, there we go, Jubilee. And Jubilee is definitely a champion I wanted to love. And again, obviously, maybe when she's released, I don't know, maybe some content really seems to fit whatever she can do or things like that. Maybe some new nodes. But overall, looking at everything, AQ, AW, like quests and
Come
stuff,
back.
don't
What'd you say?
really see her being used much.
Oh, the quest? Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be used much at all.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she'd be good in Alliance Quest, Alliance War. Don't really know too many pieces of content she could excel in. Alright though, we do have another champion coming that has not yet been showcased, has not yet been released. We only have an option to fight this guy in the monthly quality difficulty quest. And also, whenever I look at this guy, I want to scream, Martha! Right, so Batman himself in disguise.
Yeah, definitely looks like Batman. And his special 2 straight out of Street Fighter 2. But
Yeah, that's special too.
Could he save 2021 January?
I don't know, could he? What do you think?
I don't know. Is he the mutant Aegon?
Oh, that was again another thing. Immediately mutant Aegon, right?
Right. Well, that's because Hercules is also going to be the cosmic Aegon. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah, of course.
But then, or no, he was going to be skill, but now he's cosmic. And anyway, long story short, yeah. I don't know. He on paper. Now we've said this so many times before. On paper, champions look good, but when we see how it's implemented, we never really know how it's going to function in real world testing, playing. Will it be awesome and Kabam will nerf it? Will it be awesome and Kabam won't do anything? Will it be a dud, only used for certain situations? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing
But
that
I'm
I can
hopeful.
immediately tell. Worst or
Yeah.
best case scenario, I can put hand on my heart and tell you he's not mutant Aegon. Toolkit vastly different. What makes Aegon Aegon? Only thing that will have him with Aegon in common is going to be that they both seemingly are built for every type of content. But to borrow an example from past. Everybody remember when Guillotine 2099 was the new Aegon?
Oh yeah, she was gonna be the queen of the abyss that we knew nothing about. Remember that too?
Yeah, exactly. Queen of Abyss, the new Everest type queen, whatever. So hype. Turns out she sucks in Abyss purely because of that.
She's a good champion. Don't get me wrong. She has her uses.
She's a good champion, exactly.
She's a very good
and
champion.
I think a similar
But
thing is
she's
going
not
to be
that.
with this guy that was happening with.
Yeah.
Because you can immediately say that they're gonna have completely different uses for anything aside from like dealing a lot of damage. Because one of the main things about him immediately that stands out is that you can bypass passive damage back and you can shut down evades immediately. That's a huge piece of utility. That alone makes me want to have this champion. And I'm fully open to the fact that he could be great. But he's not going to be great for the same reasons that Aegon's great. It's kind of like Nick Fury and Dr. Doom, both 2019 champions. But Nick Fury isn't skill class Doom, or Doom isn't skill class Nick Fury. Completely different champions. Both of them are Horsemen of Abyss. Both of them are amazing in Abyss. But both of them do completely different things and are brought in for completely different reasons. And the same thing is here. Because this ability to shut down evade and bypass passive damage back is already very, very solid foundation. If you can combine it with a good damage output, literally the rest of his ability set wouldn't even matter. If he hits very hard, does nothing else, he can already be a good champion.
Correct. That is true. I think he has the most potential. He obviously has the potential to be the better of the two champions this month. I think he's going to do that. No problem.
I'd be willing to bet on that quite freely.
Ooh, you want to bet? No.
Yeah, that. I mean, like, first of all, Jubilee is very low bar to clear.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think that he definitely is going to be... I think he'll be crazy good, potentially. And I think he'll be even better with the Apocalypse Horseman synergy. I think that's going to make him...
I wanted to say, I think that Apocalypse synergy alone makes him more worthwhile than Jubilee. You know what I mean? If he was literally a blank champion with no abilities, and it will only ability he would have was you cannot bring this champion in a quest, but he had this synergy with Apocalypse, where you can potentially give Apocalypse 300% energy damage increase. I think that alone would make him more worthwhile than Jubilee.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and that synergy alone makes him insane. Not even as a horseman, but if you put him as a horseman too, that becomes even more insane.
That's actually one of the bigger things I want to test out in future as well.
Yeah. I think it could be interesting. It could be definitely something that, you know, once you get the champion, because I know you're going to try and grind for him regardless if you don't pull him.
Actually, as we are communicating right here, I just received a text. Keep in mind it's nearly 10 p.m. here, UK time, that apparently I'm working tomorrow.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that's wonderful. Lots of notice, tons of fun. That means no morning stream tomorrow.
Sleep. I think you don't have to go to work tomorrow.
I am going to work tomorrow.
I know, that's so stupid, man. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, but in regards to Strife, I think he could be really good. We'll just have to see. But regardless, you're going to be able to do some fun streams, I'm sure, with him.
Yeah,
I think
I'll try to grind out 5-star for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a I could see like at least a Labyrinth run with him, if not maybe an Abyss run if you have him fully ramped up with Apocalypse.
I think
maybe
the first thing that I'm going to do though is do Apocalypse Labyrinth run again, because I have a Labyrinth run with Apocalypse already, with Professor X amped up and all that stuff, but I want to do an Apocalypse run now.
Yeah, you're gonna do it with your 6-star, right?
I don't have a 6-star Apocalypse.
Neither do I. It's so sad. Can we please get a 6-star?
But yeah, I do want to make that happen. But obviously Strife has other cool abilities, like that one synergy that lets him basically be unblockable would be quite cool and go invisible. You can kind of start to fight like a ghost, I think, and yeah, there are several interesting things that could be very interesting with the champion. It also kind of depends how his animations are going to flow. For instance, a lot of champions quite often depend on how their heavy attack animation is, whether you can chain spam it against the wall, which is one of the things that could be important for Strife, I think.
Yeah, definitely could. There's some fun stuff you could probably do there. Yeah, just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, we gotta wait another week and a half before early access bundles and another 2 weeks and a half before he gets released.
Yeah.
So we got some time.
For sure. For sure we do. But it's definitely looking a lot more positive than Jubilee. Jubilee, unfortunately, and again, I am getting a lot of slack for this. It's like, you know nothing. This guy said she's a new mutant god tier. She's gonna be crazy good. And I'm fully open to being wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. I would love to be wrong. But I see nothing worthwhile in Jubilee, unfortunately. And I want to like the character. Jubilee is one of my childhood favorites. I grew up watching those X-Men cartoons, and whenever over the past year and a half somebody asked me which champion you want in the game, it was Jubilee. I was really excited. Not anymore.
By the way, Strongy Lawrence is not pre-recorded. See, I just proved it. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
Strife though. Strife still can hold the month of January.
Yeah. So, what else we got? We want to talk about next. I mean, Strife definitely good. Gonna be happy about that.
Well,
I'm gonna grind for him.
I will as well, hopefully. And I will actually, if I'm not gonna be working, I will also probably grind for Jubilee, because I think she's gonna go low and, because why not kind of thing. It's not that tricky with my roster to put up like 40+ million.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking she'll go for about 40 million-ish route there. What people don't remember too is I think we're past the days of insanely high, because they're doing 300 versus 150 now. And
it's not just that, it's also the fact that 5-stars kind of mean less and less.
Well, that too, yeah, because more people are wanting the 6-star version, not the 5-star, which, granted, I wish I had a 6-star of Immortal Abomination and Spider-Ham, both of those, but since I don't, I have a rank 5-star, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and I really would love a 6-star Immortal Abomination.
So would I. I'm so happy I grinded for him. I'm just so happy. And I remember telling you back in October, I thought that out of the two, Immortal Abomination really interested me, and that was before we knew if iHulk was going to be a dud, which apparently you've changed your mind on.
I haven't. I don't think he's a good champion. Honestly, I think that Red Goblin probably has more use and potential. I don't think he is great champion. I just freaking like using him, and it's so fun. Whenever you go for a level 2 stun opponent and start smashing them, in my brain it's kind of Hulk smash, and,
that I could see that for sure. I just think that I don't know. I hope to go for Jubilee and Strife. I just hope Strife doesn't go insane. Score wise, I don't think it's gonna be as high as, like I said, I don't think you're gonna see the minimum cutoff being 75 million or something. That, you know what I mean? It's not going to be possible anymore with 300, I don't think, because you're not going to have that many people doing that much score.
Yeah, I know.
For a 5-star.
Also,
so here's a little impromptu adding to the thing, since we have a little bit of time. Do you think it's time to add a 6-star feature to?
I think it's long past overdue. I have long been extremely vocal about it. That I am quite appalled. One of my bigger current issues with Kabam in general, put everything else aside, is the fact that they are offering to buy 6-stars, effectively guaranteed. So long as you can fork up enough money or ramp up enough credit card debt or whatever, you're basically all but guaranteed a chance to pull whatever 6-star you want. Just keep opening calves. Open 10, get lucky, open 10,000 or 1,000 calves, which some people do. They often open like 200, 300, or basically keep opening until they get the champion, if they really want it. But fact of the matter is, regardless of varying price tag, people with money have a guaranteed way of acquiring whichever 6-star champion they want.
Yeah.
And no amount of hard work gives you any ability to even vaguely target a specific champion.
Yeah.
So, I think it's long overdue for a 6-star featured arena.
Yeah. Do you think they'll add a 6-star basic arena before featured? Asked Mr. Murph. That's actually a good question. That's why I wanted to say that one.
No.
Yeah, I can't see them doing that.
when basic arena turns into, they don't. When basic. Well, do we even have a 5-star basic arena? No, we only have 4-star basic arena, right?
Yeah, we only have 4-star basic.
So I think that's quite definitive. They're not gonna jump over the 5-star. Yeah, I think they're gonna add a 5-star basic arena, fair enough, which is again quite overdue. But they definitely will not add 6-star basic arena for years to come. The best and only chance we have is that they add 6-star featured arena and 5-star basic arena.
I think the more arenas they add too, the more you're going to see the ability to get some of the mid champions. Like, so if they add a 6-star feature, let's say,
the
and a 5-star
gonna
basic,
get to grind for the 5 stars.
Yeah, it'd be easier to grind for the 5 stars. That's what I'm saying. I think it could have a benefit, but it also could piss off Kabam and their money-making scheme, because then people won't be as happy to get a 5-star featured from the like calves and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But one last little impromptu question: do you think the next title, so after Thronebreaker, whatever that may be, do you think they'll add another level of crystals, which finally gets rid of 3 stars in there and has the higher potential for a 5 and 6 star?
That's a good question. If they will do that,
yeah,
they will also fork up the price to 500. I think.
They could.
I think they're gonna put it at 500 units.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Then it could happen.
I mean, there's lots
and
of
I think that's the
things
only way it could happen. Because it kind of makes sense, right? Because currently in cow crystals, you have about 50% chance to pull a 3-star. But if you pay nearly double the price, like, you know what I mean? Like, so basically you have 50% chance, almost 50% chance to pull something higher than a 3-star. So your expected result, if you open 2 cow crystals, would be 1 3-star, 1 something, anything higher than 3-star. But if you double that price, then expected outcome is really similar. So they wouldn't quite crush the economy in terms of units per champion star rating, or whatever, how you want to measure it. So I think the only way they would do that is if they fork up the price to about 500. Because otherwise everybody's gonna get immediately quite ISO rich, whoever can open at least some amount of crystals. So I think if they will do that, 4 to 6 stars, 500 units pop, or maybe 600 units pop, and then it. I was gonna say
they may do 600. They may double the price, because then you could say it's 2 Odins worth to open 10 of them. You know.
Well, no, there is another chance, because they will not immediately start with the featured ones. It's kind of like,
they'll start with the cab version, the regular cabs.
Like cabs and then featured. And then they're gonna be Thronebreaker crystals, and then only after a couple of months they're gonna release featured Thronebreaker crystals.
What did it take? 3 to 6 months or something like that from when we got from regular calves, which everyone loved at first, to the featured calves?
Yeah, something like that. So I think they're probably gonna do something similar.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But it could happen. As well as you mentioned in one of the earlier episodes, improvements to the sigil star. Because if we pop in the star, and this is again a very kind of like interesting thing, we can see that if you want to buy the featured 5-star, it's 11k units, featured 6-star currently 13k units. But keep in mind, if you are, I believe, uncollected, then the featured 5-star costs 13k units as well. And the same thing for the 6-star shards that we currently can purchase 10,000 for 750. And the same thing was when you were uncollected, you could purchase 750 5-star shards.
Correct.
For 2,000 4-star shards.
It was 2,000. Yeah. My other account is uncollected, and I haven't pushed for Cavalier for that specific reason. I want to be able to see the uncollected offers myself.
And where you are at now, we can see that it's 1,000. So I do think that we are on the stepping stone of next title, above Thronebreaker.
I think the last title is going to come out when Act 7's done.
I think it's going to come out at 7.2 though.
You think it's going to come with the end of 2?
There's no way they're going to have 2 titles in Act 6 and 1 title at the very, very end of Act 7.
Well, what did they only have Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Well, unless
I
they
was
do 2
half
titles at the
expecting
end of
a
Act
title to come out with
7.
7.1.
They could do, okay, here's what they could do. They could do an initial completion title for 7.1 and then a second title for 7.2, or I'm not 7.1, I mean Act 7 in general, and then 100% Act 7 could be another title too.
And I think the next set as well, because unfortunately I'm afraid they're going to move further in that roster requirement to get the title.
Yeah.
Because right now there is quite a big divide in between Thronebreaker players as well. Like, we have people who have that one rank 3 who have done it in order to get Thronebreaker. Then we have people like me who have like 14, I can rank a couple of more. And even for me, I have an alliance mate who has like 30 rank 3s. He's also playing a different game to me. But I do think that the next title will probably be something like Beat or Explore 7.2 and have like 5 or 10 rank 3 6 stars.
My thought is, and someone said it in the chat too, was my thinking was they're going to say have one of each class as a rank 3.
I don't know, maybe. Or maybe it's just
I
gonna be a
mean, because
number.
you could argue, well, you know what? You keep complaining you don't have all these, you have these cats for champions you don't have. We want you to have one of each. See?
So maybe.
Makes sense.
Maybe. Right, we have the last couple of things that we do have to mention because we consistently get asked, and
we have answers. We have answers for you all. We have all the answers you've been asking for.
When does the Legend Leaderboard come out for 7.1? No clue.
Sorry, guys.
Hasn't been announced.
Don't know.
Nobody has said. Nothing's been posted on Twitter, forums, or in any of the line rooms, as far as I'm aware. When does Act 7.2 or Variant 7 gets released? I can speculate.
I have this answer.
I can speculate. Typically, once Act has started to roll out, it's about every 3 months. If we got 7.1 in December, I'd expect it around March. 7.2 should be around March. And when it comes to Variant 7, we do not have any schedule at all whatsoever.
They're just talking about redoing the variants. Remember, Variant 6 was after a long hiatus of a year.
Yeah.
And they've decided, they did a survey right after that one came out, or right before it came out, asking us how often we want to have them. And both KTea and I think a lot of other people agreed, for a year, one every quarter would be great.
Yeah, but I think realistically, we can probably right now expect one in April, May maybe.
Yeah, probably April, because they've gotta start ramping them up. You know, we haven't got to that one every 3 months that I assume they'll eventually do. So yeah, I would say early summer.
And the most important question that we kind of went over already is Strife going to be Mutant Aegon?
No.
Strife's going to be Strife. That is not to say that Strife might not be the champion you're waiting for to clear Abyss.
KT, I just got breaking news.
Oh.
Strife will not be a mutant Aegon. He's going to be a mutant Corvus?
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
No,
that checks out. Wait, let me double check the source. Yeah, it checks out. It's a mutant Corvus.
It checks out? Oh, yeah. It was Kabam Mishay? Whoever that is.
Yeah, well, either way. But, again, that is not to say, because Kabam are dropping serious hints that he's going to be useful in Abyss. Don't know for sure. It's not guaranteed, but it does look like he could be somebody that could potentially, let's say, and I dread the reaction this is going to get, replace Aegon for exploring Abyss.
You want to hear my thought?
Yeah.
This is my final thought I'll have. I promise I'll stop having thoughts after this, at least for today. My thought is that we're going to have, maybe by the end of the year, maybe next year, we'll have a new Horseman team that's completely mutants, held up by Apocalypse for the Abyss.
Possibly. Only thing they really would need is like a buff control.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But yeah,
I mean, that'd be awesome.
I don't.
They made a second
by the way,
Horseman team.
To be perfectly clear, I don't think Strife's going to be as good as Aegon is.
Probably not.
But I think
he'll be. I think he'll be. What a lot of people have been saying is a top 10 champ.
Who knows? Anyways, that is pretty much it for now. Oh, shut up and take my money. The next big bad in Act 7.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice. Thank you very much, Awesome. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. And so for those of you who do not know, this was ultimately like 8th episode of KT time. However, we are changing it, and we're gonna be trying to record these live in front of every single one of you every Sunday afternoon, thereabouts at this hour. We're gonna do it open to everyone from the start, so you guys can be here. And if you do have any valid questions, obviously, as I said, we can't read all the chats, but if you do bring up a valid point or make it easier for us to spot a valid point via super chat, then obviously we're gonna respect that. But let's say huge thank you to Mandalorian.
Thank you, guys. This is the only time he lets me talk other than reading comments, so thanks for being here.
And as I said, I should get going to get ready for bed, because apparently I'm waking up at 6 a.m. and going to work.
Jesus, I'm so sorry, man.
Life. Either way, that will do for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, then please hit that like button, forward the link to this stream to your friends and everyone else, and huge thank you to Mr. WTF once again. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Bye, everyone.